so coming back to playing video games after having not played for a very long time. This is a game that came out while I was away, and I've just started sort of catching up on it and starting to play it. This is Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. It's the third-person shooter based off of the original iPhone, iPod, iPad game, and it's a lot of fun. I've been enjoying it quite a bit. The thing that sort of distinguishes it from a lot of other games is obviously it's not a military shooter. So finally, there's another good shooter that I consider good that's not quite... Oof. Okay, I got sort of splatted there. But it's not a military shooter, which, I mean, the last really good shooter I feel that wasn't military was probably like Team Fortress 2. I mean, Loadout's pretty fun. And in fact, Loadout is quite similar to this game. This game feels, in terms of the style that it has, sort of like Loadout mixed with Team Fortress 2 mixed with some Plants vs. Zombies. So it's got this very unique vibe, and it's actually, I mean, if you look at the graphics and everything, it's actually a pretty beautiful game. It's got some nice textures, and just it looks like the people at, I guess, PopCap and EA, the main people that made this, they put a lot of effort into this, and it really shows. Also, interestingly enough, there's a number of DLCs that have been released already, seeing as the PC version was released a couple months after the PS4 and Xbox One. And I think it came out for Xbox 360 and PS3 too, but the thing is, there were a bunch of DLCs that came out while the PC version hadn't come out yet, and basically they gave all those DLCs to the PC players that got their versions later than everyone else. They gave them all for free. So that's pretty cool. And it's a very different change of heart from what EA usually does. And as much as I love Battlefield 4, I like a lot of EA games. And in fact, I play a lot of EA games. The fact of the matter is they're pretty money grubbing at times. So it's interesting, and it's refreshing to see that change of business structure. Now, about the actual game, what you probably came here to actually hear: is this game any good? Is it any fun? And is it worth the money? This game costs about $30 US dollars, not sure how much that is in the UK or wherever else you may be. And to me, it's very much worth it. The amount of depth, the amount of customization you get, the amount of just pure fun that you get is well worth it, in my opinion. The thing that I think allows this game to succeed is the fact that you don't have a whole bunch of the bloating that a lot of other games have, especially the modern military shooters. There's depth and customization to your characters, to the weapons and the abilities and things like that to a certain point, but there's also not so much that it starts detracting from the fun of the game. You don't have these people walking around with really OP guns. I mean, obviously these guns are pretty goofy and stuff like that, but the actual balancing when you get down to the nitty gritty is actually pretty, it's pretty decent. There's no time I've been killed and I'm like, oh my gosh, everyone's using that same thing. As you can see, there's a lot of variety in the type of units and things that most people use. I personally just been sticking with like the foot soldier for the zombie and the pea shooter for the plants, just because I'd sort of like those play styles more, but I'm also trying the cactus. But yeah, there's basically like 4 different main classes. The zombies have the foot soldier, the scientist, the engineer, and the all-star. Most of them are it's pretty common sense. The all-star is sort of this charging heavy from TF2 tank sort of guy. The scientist has sort of a shotgun, he can heal units. The foot soldier basically just has a little machine gun like thing, and the engineer can create little turret, little drone things and throw them up in the air, and has an interesting little weapon. On the plant side, you have the pea shooter, which is sort of like the foot soldier, but he doesn't shoot, or he or she, hey, who knows. But the pea shooter only really shoots these little ball things. They're a little bit tougher to hit, but if you hit an actual unit with them, they do more damage than an individual bullet or bolt from the zombie foot soldier would do. So there's interesting little changes in terms of the factions and the difference that those factions have in their weapons and stuff. After the pea shooter, you've got the sunflower, which has a healing ability and sort of like the team medic, but it also has sort of a laser beam, like sunbeam sort of thing that can shoot at other people. And then you have the chomper, which is one of my favorite units. It's just so unique. It's basically sort of like an assassin or a stealth unit that just sort of goes, and you can go underground and come up and start chomping on them zombies. Yum yum. And then the last unit for the plants is, of course, the cactus. And the cactus is sort of like a sniper, and it uses sort of like a DMR sort of mechanic, or DMR sort of system from Battlefield. So overall, you've got a lot of variety in these classes, and it just complements the game so well. So for a game like this, there's a surprising amount of depth, as I said, and just a lot of all-around fun. And it doesn't try to be too complicated, yet it's not so simple that you find yourself getting sort of bored of the game. I mean, it's not a game I could see myself getting super competitive about. I'd probably treat this sort of like how I treat Call of Duty, where it's just a fun game to go on every once in a while, test those first-person shooter skills, and just enjoy yourself. Absolutely, it would be a fun game to play with friends, things like that. You may be wondering, well, how are the maps? What are they? Are they fun? Are they balanced? What are they like? These maps are pretty fun. There isn't a whole lot of tactical depth. Like, I'm not sure you're gonna go around and start going, oh, I'm gonna get some flanking routes on here. I mean, you can, and I think, in fact, in this clip, I sort of came and sort of flanked around the other way. So, I mean, there's little minuscule sort of flanking opportunities that you can have, but there's not a whole bunch of depth to this game in terms of if you want like a hardcore. Something like that. Now, just because it's more of a casual game, does that mean it's not as fun? Absolutely not. I am one of the people that believes that yes, there can be casual games that are just as fun as some that claim to be hardcore. So, that's my 2 cents on that matter. Sort of funny. Sometimes I forget that you don't really actually have to control for recoil as much in this game. It's sort of a bad habit, or a good habit, depending on what type of games you like more. But yeah, you don't really have to control for recoil too much, and sometimes it actually detracts from you if you're trying to tap fire when really you just should be unloading on a big purple plant or whatever else you're finding out there. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next video.